It's amazing that she's here. Carrie Preston from Elsbeth. How are you? And I appreciate you coming on the program. And Carrie, how did this all come about? We all know this is a spinoff, but how did it happen? Season three, it's got to be amazing where things have gone in your career every year. It just continues to
Yes,
grow. It's awesome.
absolutely. It's sensational. First of all, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey starting 15 years ago when I was cast in a guest spot at the very end of season one of The Good Wife. And Robert and Michelle King, when they called to offer the role, they said, we're thinking about this character called Elsbeth as like a female Columbo. And at the time, I wasn't like a huge Columbo
Right.
watcher, but it was a tiny bit before my time. But I thought, oh, I know what they're talking about. They want this person to be unexpected and unconventional in her approach. So I went about, doing that, but staying within the lines of the style of that show, which is a drama. And I was there to serve those
Exactly.
characters and be a part of that universe. And then I did a couple episodes, went great. And then I didn't hear anything for a whole season. And I thought, all right, well, I guess that's it. And then in season three of The Good Wife, they said, oh, we want you to come back. And we've written like a little arc for you. And I think that's when I really found my stride and the alchemy between what I was doing and what the writers were doing really lined up. And then just periodically they would bring me back and ended up winning an Emmy during that time for guest actress in a
Wow.
drama. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Never would have dreamt of that. And then they announced they were going to do a spinoff. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be, I could be a part of the spinoff. But no, this was called The Good Fight, and it was a continuation, and it had Christine Baranski and all these other people. And they just brought me on as a guest a couple of more times. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's that. And then 2020 rolled around and everybody was sitting around during the pandemic. And Robert and Michelle King were watching reruns of Columbo. And
Oh
that's when they
man.
went ding, ding, ding. Remember when we talked about Elspeth being like a Columbo? Maybe this is a way we could do our next show and have it be centered around Elspeth. So that's how it started.
Go
And then
figure.
took like
So,
3 years to even get there.
but people knew about this character. So that's the thing
Yeah.
that to start a show in a spin-off way. Did you get lots of from getting that Emmy, like fan mail and different things that people were kind of giving feedback of that character and how much they enjoyed it? And
Oh
that,
yes, yes. I just feel so, touched by how many people love this character. I mean, people have been, talking to me about it the whole time, fans, people on the street, people send me mail. There's people like something struck a chord in this, with people and this character. And it's really moving to me that something that, started off as a guest spot is something that is, touching people now. It's
so
really
how do you
cool.
think you as a character made it so memorable as a guest spot to get it to where it is now? This
Well,
character.
I mean, I have to give credit to the writers,
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
course, because Robert and Michelle King created the character, but now on Elsbeth, John Tollins is our showrunner, and he runs all the writers and is our head writer, and they just really understand what I'm bringing to it, but also the the unorthodox way in which she works and the kind of juxtaposition between what she's thinking, what she's saying, and what she's doing. And everybody's just on the same page. And so we just keep deepening the character. And I think it is her curiosity, her positive attitude, her ability to use her brain to bring justice to the world or to trick somebody into thinking she's not as bright as she is. All those things I think people delight in. At least I hope so. I certainly delight in playing it.
It sounds like it, and it sounds like it's just something that, just it just comes out. The characters just it's something that people resonate. And I think that's the important thing. And then the writers saw that. And then they said,
Yes.
let's go ahead and do this. And the whole thought about Columbo as
Yeah.
a character. I
Yeah.
mean, did you watch Columbo at all?
Yes,
Your
yes,
son-
I did. And I had watched it a little bit, so I sort of knew what they were talking about. But since then, I've watched, a lot
You went
more.
back and binge watched to kind of
Yeah.
build this character and get this more and more
Just kind of
in that way.
understand. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, tonally, that was a completely different era of,
Yeah.
but just the function, the structure of the show is similar in that we see the murder on most of the time on Elsbeth. We see the murder. We know who the murderer is. It's no mystery there. The mystery is how is Elsbeth and all of her colleagues going to solve this murder. That's the fun of then watching, and the audience is ahead of us. There's no stress over, oh my God, who's the killer? There's no stress there. Everybody knows.
You've landed a role that could be a lifetime role for you in a way. And the way I see it is because of where murder mysteries are going.
Yeah,
From the
people love
days,
a murder mystery. They
yeah,
love it. They love
yes,
it.
and they're going to find something else for you if that's the case, because you see even what some of the others, which I won't mention, that are out there,
Yeah,
they're performing so well
I
with
know.
the
I know.
audience.
I know. I think something about that kind of the police procedural right now is satisfying to people. I think people want a cathartic experience. They want a beginning, a middle, and end. They want to see a thing and have it get solved and feel okay about the world. I think it's offering something like that today.
And think about it. It all started with before even this, so the Nancy Drew days, Clue, all these
Sure.
others, but somehow it came back, and
Hmm.
you're riding the wave in so many
I am.
ways.
I am, and I
You know.
couldn't feel more lucky.
Where do you see your character going? Because I hate, because this is the thing. I don't want to know much. Here's the reason, because I'm going to binge watch you now. This
Yeah.
is how it happens. Everybody I interview, then I guess go through the whole binge process. When I'm busy doing working on my agency or doing different things, it's like, okay, my fiance and I, we're going to binge watch. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
what can you think where this character is going? Because that's really where the conversation needs to go. So your fans are not like, hey, they didn't give it away. Got to go back
Yeah.
and binge watch. You got to go to
Right.
Paramount Plus and you got to go check it out on
Yeah.
CBS.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts in this character? Where do you want to see it go?
I mean, I trust our writing team so much. And John Tolan's, our head writer, um, they're going to come up with things that I couldn't have even dreamt of, which says so much about our job as actors. We really are there to elevate and bring to life what's on the page. Um, so I do trust that they're going to do things that I wouldn't have thought. That said, I what I love about what we're doing now with the character that we're able to do because she's in every episode all the time is really deepen her relationships with people, and we get to see her in situations. We see her now as a mother. I think we're going to see more of that, because in The Good Wife and Good Fight we didn't have time to bring in supporting guest players family like that. That's not wasn't going to serve those shows. So we're seeing her as that. We've been seeing her have a little bit of a romance. We've been seeing her navigate friendships, and being a fish out of water in some ways. She's in this new city that she hasn't lived in before, in New York. We're seeing her take a big bite out of the big apple, and I think we're going to continue to see that more. And also to see her vulnerabilities and
Yeah.
there's certain things that she's, as we saw this season, not able to solve. And so how does she deal with that? Or she solves it and yet the killer still gets away. How does that affect her emotionally? Those are the kinds of things that I'm excited to figure out.
I love it. I love it in so many ways. And I'm definitely going to now binge. There you go. And you see these specific shows and how a character, you just live through that character and learn these different things and the who done it. It's just so important. Do you have any other projects going on right now, Carrie, that you want to promote?
My whole life is about this show. We work, we're doing 20 episodes
Wow.
20. So that takes a good 8 months. And then, then when I have press, and then I have a little downtime, and then we start again. So this is my dream. This is my dream job. So I'm very happy
Oh, that's
to
fantastic. I
just
mean,
have that
but
job.
you hear 20 episodes, right? We don't see that in the binge
No,
watching days, right?
no, we
So
don't.
that's fantastic. And it's really the audience when you think of CBS and how loyal that audience is that tunes into the
Yeah,
shows.
they
You're
really are. They really are. And I'm so grateful to CBS for putting our odd little show, in their lineup. And it speaks to them and their
in their success.
willingness to
Yeah.
let us be creative.
And their success, where CBS will probably survive the broadcast television days before the streaming days. And well, you
Yeah,
see the success of Paramount Plus as well with that
sure.
partnership with CBS in so many
Yep.
aspects. So that's a
Hmm.
shout out to CBS and how they
Yeah.
good stories that keep people going. Not okay, I got to binge and then wait a while. No, you're gonna get that character back again. So you say eight
Yeah.
months on, 4 months
Yes.
off, and here
Yeah.
we go again.
And here we
That's
go again. And then they know how to get those shows out internationally as well. So they have a great presence in all across the world. So that's fun too, to think, oh my gosh, some people will travel and then they'll send me little clips of, Elsbeth speaking French with
oh
English
wow.
subtitles, and I'll hear somebody dubbing my voice. And that just it makes me giggle, to see, and I'm happy for the voiceover actors that they get to voice, these shows over there.
It's
I'm happy for
fantastic.
them.
And
Yeah.
worldwide, you're going to be like the nanny. I remember when I was a former professional wrestler, I was in Germany. I watched the nanny in German, French, same with the Simpsons. So there you go.
There
Let's
you
get
go.
to that level of, how many times people have watched the nanny over and over and over again, somewhere or something. Go
Yes.
figure. So my last question for you is a question and shout out for my co-host who could not make it. And he has some really interesting questions. His name is Greg Hanna. And
Okay.
he asks these celebrities this question. It's such a powerful question, so be ready for it.
Okay.
I'm warning you, but it's very, very, it's a powerful question because it makes you think, and how would I answer it myself?
Okay.
So, Carrie, what is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
To be present. It's so easy to always be thinking about the past or thinking about the future. And it's remarkably challenging to just think about the now. And all we have is the now. It's a lifelong practice.
That's powerful. Be present. Makes
Hmm.
me think about that as I try to be present doing 30 plus podcasts a week, producing 20 plus shows and done over 15,000. Whatever's happened to me once the camera goes on, even though I'm still improving the camera, because before COVID, I was doing a radio show.
Oh, there you go.
COVID
Okay.
is when I went into the television and it's so hard focusing on that little green light compared to big
Yeah.
television camera when I go into a television
Yeah.
studio. And
Yeah.
it's like you have two different presents. And I know every moment is a chance to cut up to shorts and reels. So that's about being present. Any
Yeah.
question, even whatever media you're doing, you never know when that's going to go viral as well. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah. That
You
is,
think
that
about.
is. I mean, we're so overwhelmed now in the world with input. I think we all need to figure out how to be present so that we can be with each other.
Yeah, present in the moment. See, that's such a
Yes.
great point because if we're not present, we're missing out.
Hmm.
Every experience, every moment today on April 29th at 1:14 p.m. Eastern, be present, not think about what's going to happen later,
Yeah.
or the
That's
next
right.
interview. And
That's
it's so,
right.
so amazing. Well,
Then
we
you
really
can really
appreciate it,
connect.
Carrie. Best place
Yeah.
we can catch up on with you. Do you have a social media you want to send people to?
Yes. So yeah, I'm at Carrie Preston on all socials. So check me out.